Yes, yes. Welcome to the ancient world of tabletop games. I am Agamemnon from the historical documentary Time Bandits. This is a report from a fugitive. The story of the Component Collector by Dogmite Games is the tale of a problem in search of a solution that landed in front of the solution seeker while identifying that problem. I planned to run a board gaming channel on the YouTubes. Well, hide my lunch and call me hungry. Obviously, I am running a board game / role-playing game channel on the YouTubes. Games demand tables. Tables require cloths. Boxes of games open of their own accord. When a game spills its guts onto the table, that table must be managed, and in the case of making board game videos, managed with an iron fist. You can't go pinging game components off your cameras or into microphones. Every toppled piece is a problem, and that's on the board. Off the board, those game components stand ready to leap into the fray. Where do they parachute to? The game board. What do they parachute from? A C-130 Hercules, and that is a board gaming fact. The options for table management are grim. Set fire to the game. That's a non-starter. Only Warhammer fans go there. 1. Keep game pieces in the box and dispense from there during play. Hardly ever practical. 2. Use a side table for components. Remember to build a spacious kitchen. 3. Go to the table itself and pile game bits on the raw acreage. 4. Dump the ludological pieces in Tupperware bowls or in the cheap supermarket rip-off equivalent. For budgetary reasons, I recommend this one. Cheap knockoff tubs. 5. Plead to the gaming gods themselves for a solution to the near-limitless demands that table management imposes upon beleaguered players. I hovered over option 4, supermarket cheapness, and I asked myself if I should sacrifice a few dice to Odin and Hera on the off chance that a company made storage slightly more visually appealing and far more practical than mass-produced plastic tubs. Zeus doesn't know about Odin and Hera. Let's keep that to ourselves. Dogmite Games announced the Component Collector and I was in business. Flat wooden squares, cut for different storage purposes and magnetized at the sides to create a display for whatever game you planned to play, were just what I needed. When I say that, I mean for video production purposes. Third-party gadgets, add-ons and accessories are always luxuries. These wooden objects are luxuries. I can easily pick up half a dozen plastic tubs for £1, and 6 tubs handle the components for a whole load of games on my shelves. There's gaming, and there's gaming for the purposes of making videos. The visual element demands more than a potato for a camera and a lump of wood serving as your microphone. Sadly, video production craves accessories. I bought these 4 sets specifically for use in videos. They come with their own dice trays and fiddly satchel straps. Even though I'd ordered the extended models with 12 pieces to a tray, I found in regular gameplay that I didn't have enough variety. This led me to reconsider everything last year when I stared at the company website thinking I should order more sets. The squares are the right size for even the strangest shaped game components. They can't flip up the way a plastic tub will. Tubs are tubs. These wooden tiles gave me shallow bowls, card holders, varnished coin and poker chip racks, and more. All good. The tiles were at their most useful during games of Pandemic Legacy. That game changes greatly as it goes along, and shifting table management was no problem. When I bought these, I ensured the greatest variety in the tiles, but the demands of a video channel are vast beyond belief. Though the company sells these storage systems, the products began life as a Kickstarter, which carries me to the next stage. I'm staring at the website, wondering if I want to generate another massive chess grid of a puzzle and writing down tile types in certain wood and of whatever shade takes my fancy. Do I really want to go there again? I want more variety, true. As I thought this in autumn 2019, I received an email from the company. Clearly the mind-reading magnets built into the tiles were doing the job and relaying information back to HQ. Those who participated in the Kickstarter were offered Component Collector rejects at a discount. What were these rejects? A few early pieces contained misaligned magnets. The system uses dots at the top of the tile, allowing users to align tiles the right way round every time. With a few magnets flipped the wrong way in production, that was no good to paying customers. These magnets are super thick. Once they're glued into the wood, there's no realistic way to remove them again without risking tile damage. What to do with defective tiles that still work as tiles? Sell them off on the cheap. And this is what I bought, knowing all that, going in. Misaligned magnets, dice trays minus the inner linings, sets that were perfectly fine but declined by the original purchaser for whatever reason. Collections without satchel straps, random tiles that I picked from a pile stuffed into a mismatched tray. From a pile of rejects, I built up a huge collection of tiles for use in practically any combination. Several tiles had loose magnets. I fixed those in place with epoxy resin, checking I didn't misalign them first. There was one other form of mismatch. Here you see one of the magnet holes drilled a little off-center. Lying flat on the table, that tile tries to connect unevenly. The table's handy cloth helps offset the worst of that glitch. With mismatched magnets, a few of the tiles must rotate out of sync to join the full display. In other words, the dots don't all line up. This doesn't matter if the piece is a bowl or square receptacle. If you know precisely what you're buying into, you'll find a way to make it all work. And I did. This video goes out under the shadow of the coronavirus. The company isn't taking orders for the tiles right now, and I imagine there's a backlog stretching to the moon. For now, I am no longer the board game doctor, making house calls and delivering complete game experiences to players. When I was still making house calls, though, I ended up doing what gamers the world over do. They leave gaming stuff in other locations, squirreled away for the winter. I dropped green tiles off for convenient use. Yes, I'll carry a hefty box around in the game bag. That's a medium-sized backpack of a flight bag and not a custom-made game bag. I draw the line at constantly lugging lumber around with me. Part of the reason for buying more sets was to create variety and versatility for the video channel, but I also wanted to use the system away from the channel without constantly having to lug sets around. Gamers buy stuff for everyone to use and leave things here, there and everywhere for convenience. The sets you see in this video aren't scattered to the four corners of the game board, but I spread a bunch of tiles around. Other than gluing several loose magnets back in place, what else did I do? Not terribly much, as I didn't want to confuse the original purchases with the discount haul in the same colours. I took marker pens to the reject pile. I used red and navy blue pens on the dots in those imperfect tiles. In a pile of tiles at a glance, I could tell the original green tiles from the rejects. No point faffing around trying to match the two with random misaligned magnets in there. The aligned sets work, and the misaligned sets all work too, just not seamlessly together. And I have so many tiles now that the magnet problem isn't a problem at all. I thought I'd make the system work when I bought these things. They proved very useful during games and in video production. Would you ever buy substandard goods? I'm not precious about these rejects, obviously not if I took marker pens to them. There was an opportunity to add storage items to my shelves just as I went looking for those precise items, and at a discount. So a set is missing a fiddly satchel strap, no big deal. In the time it took to order the rejects on a site that was clearly under pressure from customer traffic, I hoped I'd bought what I'd aimed for. Several sets ended up being ordered by multiple customers, overloading the system. First come, first served, in a digitally determined queue. I was offered a refund, but opted for a grab bag of tiles to make up the difference. Give me all those green ones in that pile, and I'll take those blue ones off your carpet. I finally bought tiles with 4 square compartments in them. These I found incredibly useful in games of Pandemic. Banter occurs and then the game intrudes. I used card racks to organise individual players for online gaming, and the king in yellow showed which player was active. The 4 compartments fill up with coins as a player uses actions. Very useful. Kept the game on track no matter the level of conversation veering off. Whose turn is it? We're halfway through my turn in this scene. 2 actions to go. The point of these tiles is to use them as intended and then find even more uses for them. Yes, I've stacked them so I could film a game component standing atop them. They're just right for that, and for so many other things. No, you can't buy these right now, except perhaps second-hand, though I'm not seeing any listings. What to do about storage, then? If you know a woodworker, you're blessed. The rabbit hole of 3D printing may beckon. Luxury items are avoidable. Pile game bits on the raw acreage of table. Reach for low plastic tubs. Use dice trays or dice bags, or gasps in Spanish, play computer versions of your board games instead. I wouldn't buy wooden storage like this, except Of course, I'm running a board game channel. Giant dice serve as props, statues add atmosphere. Before I ran the channel, we got by down in the cheap seats and a good time was had by all. My bank account looks back on those days with fondness. Yes, buy cheap, and yes, you can buy substandard goods that do the job anyway. These are not budget rocket engines with a dubious air to them. A mismatched magnet makes little difference to me. If I can take advantage of it, I will. And I do. This mismatched set used in Pandemic Rising Tide was for the blue water cubes. I'd slide the cubes off that red tile sideways thanks to the bogus magnet, and keep a core set of blue cubes handy next to it to remind me that we were getting into the low stocks and a game-ending situation if we ran out of cubes from the brown tile. At that stage of play, we'd thrown 4 blue cubes back into the supply. The Netherlands survived just long enough to stay dry enough to help us win before the cards ran out. It doesn't matter that the green tile holding the reminder token is technically upside down. Framing the tiles around the game board corner saved a lot of space. Hint to game designers: make your board's landscape instead of portrait. Gamers, and especially gamers who make videos, hate portrait game boards. And that really is a board gaming fact.